Hey everybody, it's time for news! Welcome to another episode of the GC Informer. For those that don't know me, I'm Mark, also known as Koistorch, and I usually float around the review team. Today is special for you and for me, as this is my first time tackling the news. There are a couple sad stories today, but I've also thrown in a couple lighter ones as well. First off, it has been discovered that Activision had a patent on a very sneaky system to entice players into microtransactions. While the system itself isn't actually in place for any games, it is quite scary. Basically, for a game like Call of Duty, the matchmaking system would pair regular players up with premium players who had spent money on cosmetics or XP boosts. This would do two things: make the player a tad jealous of the shiny new weapons of his opponent, as well as leave them at a disadvantage, as some weapons are definitely better than others in a game like Call of Duty. Choosing different roles like Assault or Sniper would also have shifted the matchmaking again to a sort of targeted advertising tactic, much like our cookies and search history will bring us tailored ads. It's scary to think that they even thought it up, and even scarier that it seemed like the patent and system was ready for use. It's also worrying that other developers and publishers may actually go down this path at some point, and I'd hate to see microtransactions get any worse than they already are. Next, in another unfortunate turn, EA has shut down Visceral Games. For those unfamiliar, Visceral are the developers of the Dead Space series and Battlefield Hardline. They were also working on a Star Wars game that will now change hands to another dev team that EA believes will take it in the direction they envisioned. This is sad because while I'm not a big fan of horror in general, the Dead Space series was good, and I can appreciate it for bringing back survival horror during the previous console generation. I still have really good memories of Dead Space 2, even if the zombie children still scare the crap out of me. I still have flashbacks to the nursery level. That stuff sticks with you. It's also all the more reason why it's sad that this developer was shut down. Hopefully they'll move on to something better. Next, onto some lighter news and something I'm very personally invested in. Dragon Ball FighterZ has revealed its next two characters. Captain Ginyu and Nappa will be joining the roster, and it sounds like Arc System Works have thought long and hard about how they'll work. They didn't give too much away, but Nappa will be using Cybermen to attack as part of his moveset, and he'll also have his strange and kind of iconic mouth laser. Captain Ginyu, on the other hand, will be able to call in the entire Ginyu force for different attacks. It's a good way to include a bunch of characters but only take up one slot on the roster. In addition to this, Ginyu will have his classic body change move, allowing him to swap characters and health with his opponent. While that has been a staple of many DBZ games, here it'll be a little more interesting, as Dragon Ball FighterZ functions more like a tournament fighter, and using a well-timed body change may be a sort of ace-in-the-hole special move when things look dire. Lastly, we have some very unexpected news coming from Sony, or at least a division of Sony. Sony Music Entertainment has announced a brand new game publisher label for indie titles called Unties. In addition to games on Sony consoles, these games will also be coming to the PC and even the Nintendo Switch. While it isn't exactly Sony developing for Nintendo, it's still a very interesting move. Depending on how it goes, we may even see the Switch become the new Vita for a bunch of side projects that wouldn't work on the traditional home console setup. I know the term new Vita isn't exactly the best way to put it either. Anyway, that's all for today. I wanted to keep it as on point as I could for my first run on a new format. Let us know what you thought of today's news in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe or follow GameCast in all of its various social media channels. You can also chat with us in our public Discord and maybe even let us know who your favourite newscaster is. And if you'd like to see more from me, you can find my links in the description below. Thanks for watching, bye!